is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
Hello and welcome into today's KCSN Update presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Tucker Franklin. Super excited to be joined by two of my favorite people. I have got two NFL veterans who have played in an Andy Reid camp and nothing better to do than with these guys than to break down some offensive line and defensive line one-on-ones. Everybody here loves that stuff. I'm with Jeff Allen and Mike DeVito. Mike, let's start with you. How have you been doing? It's been a minute, but you guys were back on the one-on-one podcast. How you been?
Oh, it was really great getting back on there with Big Jeff and talking some Chiefs football. And, you know, leading up to this point, you're a lot of times, especially through the summer, you're just trying to drum up storylines for things to talk about. Now we finally get the real stuff going again. And so it's nice to actually be talking about football and it be applicable, real-time, fun stuff. And I'm really excited about this because I'm excited to look at some one-on-one pass rush.
Jeff, I saw you had quote tweeted one of my videos that I tweeted out about one-on-ones. How excited are you to be back in football and to see these drills now circulating Twitter and out there?
I'm so excited, man. It's awesome to see football's back. You got a game tonight, right? Just to see guys out there competing. I know a lot of times we get one-on-ones and we try to pick a winner, but it's a lose-lose situation. That's a tough situation for O and D line. It's not really real life, in my opinion, but coaches love to do it. Same wide receivers and DBs. It's a team game. So one-on-ones, although they're fun and competitive, they aren't very realistic.
Right. Yeah. We've got about 8 minutes of one-on-ones to look at here and you guys to run through. But before we get into the clips from Thursday's practice, I wanna kind of give you guys an update. Charles Minihue did not practice on Thursday because of a calf strain. More than likely precautionary at this point in camp. And it's hot. It is humid out there in St. Joe. They probably don't want these guys to stretch themselves too much, especially guys if they're dealing with a little bit of aches and injuries there. They do have an off day coming up on Sunday too as well. But another thing too is I want to get your guys' thoughts. You know, Jeff, you talked about it. It's kind of a lose-lose situation with the one-on-ones. What do you mean by that? Kind of what's your mindset going into a one-on-one drill as an offensive lineman?
Don't get beat. No, seriously, man. It literally it's doing something that's so damn near impossible and making it possible. I mean, it's a situation where you're one-on-one with a guy. It doesn't very much happen very often in a game on the O-line because we're always helping each other. You got help from the inside as a tackle. Center has help from both sides. It's a collective group effort, but when you're doing one-on-ones, you go out there, you compete, and you're trying to win. All I'm thinking about is getting a win.
Yeah.
No,
Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, and then just to Jeff's point, I actually had a lot of success in one-on-ones during practice. And as you can see, damn, Jeff, let me hit the punchline, Jeff. It hurts a little bit when you say it. No, exactly. I mean, I did a good job in one-on-ones, and when I look at this drill now, to like Jeff said, it's not realistic, and I wish I had the perspective I had then that I do now. There are two types of players, broadly speaking, in training camp right now. There are those guys that are trying to make the team, and that there's those guys that are on the team that are just trying to get better. And in that latter group, having been in that group for most of my career, I'm very fortunate. I wish I would have taken one-on-ones the mindset of I'm going to try to get better at things that I might not be good at, right? So let me go out here and not worry about failing, but let me try a crazy move or something, or try to, hit a spin move or something that I wouldn't normally do, or work on something instead of getting up there and say, okay, I just want to win, which is the natural sort of reaction. Let me get up there and try to do things that are outside of my comfort zone and see what I can, what moves I can add to the toolbox, to the repertoire. But like Jeff said, he's saying, don't get beat. I'm saying I got to win. And now I think back, man, I wish I would have had a different mindset. Your rookies, your guys that are trying to make the team, they got to go out there and
win.
They got to win. I mean, they got to show what they got, and so you expect that from them. But there were a lot of times, I would do like a bull rush or something. It's like, okay, we wasted everybody's time here. Why? What was the point of that? So I wish I would have taken a better approach when I was playing. I think it would have helped me more on Sundays to just try things and let it loose a little bit more instead of, being so tight about winning the drill, winning the rep.
Mm, that's interesting. Let's go ahead and get into these one-on-ones that we got here for you. These come from Thursday's practice. We're going to be watching some plays here. This first rep from Trey Smith on Daniel Wise, a guy who is probably going to be a practice squad candidate. But again, as these kind of roll through, and anything that catches your eyes, guys, go ahead and jump in and talk about. But so we're going to see some one-on-ones here.
Well, I mean, you could just see right away. You got your two Pro Bowl guys in there, and they're, you know, the first guy. I think I'm not going to make you rewind, Tucker, but can you pause it for a sec so we don't get too far ahead?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
With 65 there on that first one, there's an element of that I like from the 3 technique. You know, I think one, you know, variation of the bull rush is the sort of single arm inside shoulder. I forget what it's called now. It's been so long, but like pressing the inside shoulder of that right guard. Because I've had a lot of success, especially against guys like Trey right there. So I mean, he doesn't totally commit to it, but I like the idea. You see him punching that inside shoulder. A lot of times you can get those guards to open up, not Big Jeff, but others, just by working that bull rush and then transitioning to an inside, shoulder press like that right there. So I like that. I think that's good. But again, it's a very safe move in a one-on-one drill.
That's the Mike DeVito special right there. That's it. Around it. That's his patent move right there. Trey has had bad hand placement right there. In addition to high pad level, we all know the type of player that Trey Smith is. And not to talk MCAP about 96, but I mean, he got a win right here, right, against a very good player. It just shows you, how difficult a one-on-one situation is for an offensive lineman, during practice, where the defense knows the situation. They know they're not going to have any help from either side. It's just they're locked in on a guy that anything to think about. So it's tough for the old lineman, but that wasn't a very good rep by Trey. So he can do better than that.
And look at what hand does Creed snap with? His left hand?
His lefty, yeah.
Yeah, so look at where 91 lines up. One-on-one. Exactly. Oh, it was the rep before. Don't worry about it, Tucker. But the rep before, he lines up, one-on-one on the snap hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just – but that's a good – I mean, that's the kind of stuff you want to see from a defensive lineman. At the same time, he gets his hips wide. He gets on the outside. I like that. But you're not going to have that much room, Jeff, you brought, you said this at the beginning. I never thought about it. Like, part of me just wonders if we do this just because they have to do 7-on-7. Like, you'll see, Jeff, as this goes on, I think there's an element of this drill that they do a little variation of with the 2-on-2s and the 3-on-2s. I think is a little bit better, but
that's where we run the games. That's more realistic than just this one situation. I mean, these guys get paid a lot of money to go get the quarterback. And a lot of the times, if a defensive lineman knew, you see it a lot of times in the situation where there's a blowout or it's a 2-minute and it's a passing situation. A lot of defense coordinators try to scheme up things to get their best pass rushers in these one-on-one situations because there's a high likelihood that it's hard. It's a high likelihood that they're going to win that situation. But offenses slide to those guys. Pause it. Go back.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I don't mean to cut you off. I didn't want this to go too far ahead because I did want to talk to Jeff about this one. I saw this one prior.
Yeah.
But to Jeff's point, exactly. You know how hard we work as a defense to get your best guy one-on-one. I mean, it's like, again, and so that's a great point, Jeff. Jeff, look at this because you got the new right tackle in. This move right here highlights what Jeff and I have talked about so much, which is the importance of the continuity and the sort of cohesiveness of the offensive line. Because this is the stuff that happens when you have two guys who are very good but aren't used to each other. That Wiley and Trey, that's not going to happen. Not because Wiley's any better, but just because they're so used to playing with each other. 65 and Trey, it's totally different right now. And so this is good for them to learn, but like that's picture perfect a TE stunt with the tackle in the end there. And it's not going to be like that come week one.
Stray did a wonderful job right there. So if you can rewind, I don't know if you can go back. He did a really good job here of taking that defender and kind of giving him a little shove to push him to the tackle. The only thing is, John, in this case, he didn't do a very good job of staying vertical, right? I mean, the whole premise of this drill is you don't know what it's going to be. It could be It could be a one-on-one situation. It could be a game situation. You don't know what they're going to do, but it's a high likelihood that they're going to run a game. So 74 Taylor in this case needs to be vertical. When I say vertical, he needs to go straight back and take that inside hand, in this case his left hand, and kind of have a filler out there, for that. I mean, I know this guy returned, but he eventually turned into a 3 technique. Have a filler for that guy so you can have some pressure on him. Now you can receive him in a better position, more square, more vertical. And now you're not off levels, you're not off kilter, and it's a clean pass. But Trey, I mean, he passed off, he did what he was supposed to do, and he ended up getting Karlaftis in a good position. It was just Taylor just wasn't vertical.
Yeah, and to Jeff's point, I mean, if you look at where 96 lines up at the beginning of the play, so as a 3 technique, what Trey is trying to stop me to do from doing, and what I'm trying to do is get to the hip of 74, right? I want to pick him, because when I pick him, it puts them in a tough spot, because now somebody's going to end up free, either me coming off the pick or that guy coming around if Trey stays with me. So what 96 does is, instead of lining up in a wide 3, look, he's like in an inside shade, right? Yep. Because he knows I don't want Trey to have any idea that I'm trying to pick this guy. So I'm going to line up inside and then try to get quick on his hip and avoid that punch. And Trey still does a good job of punching him out. But these are the things at the beginning of camp that you see, and you're like, oh, the defensive line is doing such a good job. And not that they did it, not that they're doing a good job, but this shit gets cleaned up quick.
It's just communication.
Right. I would say in 2 or 3 practices from now, this is going to look a lot different.
They do the same thing, this drill here with the interior pass rush. And Mike, as an interior pass rusher, I don't know if you guys ever did like the games like this very often in these one-on-one type drills or this situation or setting, but how much does this like help you?
It's hard. I never liked doing these, not with 2 guys. There were times that we would run like what we called pirate stunts, where you'd have like the TNT, 2-3 techniques in a nose, and he would offset to one gap. So we had Dontari Poe. He would blast through the gap, and I would come around, and the other guy would wrap around me. I like the variation when there's 3 guys at work. I don't know, Big Jeff, how you feel, but I just always feel like when there's 2 guys trying to run that Tom stunt, it just doesn't work. I don't know.
This is easy. I mean, obviously there's not much space in there in the interior. So for us, is the interior 3, we're creating a funnel situation where we're making these guys basically run to each other. And we're not really blocking them. They're blocking themselves in this situation.
Yeah. And you know what else is killer too, Tucker? If they run the football when you do that, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. You're done.
It's a huge gap to that right side there. You can see it. You can see that if that's a run play.
You better hope to hell that that's not a run. Look at this one, Big Jeff. This next one I had seen prior. I love this. This is a veteran move right here with 90. Oh wait, is this still a TE stunt?
I think this is still the tackles. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's right after this one, yeah.
Watch 70 on this one. This is in a sense taking advantage of the drill a little bit, but this is a heady move right here. Watch 70.
Did he hit him with the Ole?
Yeah, he hit him with the little quick head movement outside, like the pick is coming, and then boom, right in.
See, that's what I was talking about earlier. You got to keep them honest with that. So, I mean, obviously, Dooney is attacking the game because that's the likelihood. That's the drill, right? He kept him honest with a head fake, a fake game, went inside. Easy win. Dooney's just a shooting drill. He's not that bad of a player. He's a great player, actually. So it's just a drill.
Yeah, it's a drill. And Tucker, you made the point before we started, like the center's going to be there. But depending on, but more than likely the center's going to be there too. So
I think that's an important thing too. And Jeff, you had brought this up on a tweet that I had tweeted out about these one-on-ones. Is sometimes rush lanes get all wonky with these guys, so it looks like it's a super easy win, but you forget about people not going, and that's one of those too where people shouldn't overreact from one clip right there. Like Joe Tooney's a fine player; he's a good player, but no need to.
I'll give you a perfect example with the same clip. If you go back, right?
Yep.
You look at Donovan Smith right here. You look at Joe, right? What's going to happen in this situation? Probably we're going to be sliding left. Dooney's going to get help from the center. Then he's going to end up helping Donovan, and that's going to be cleaning the game.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So, I mean, that's what people need to have context into these. And that's why, I think it's great to have you guys on and talk about all these. And now we're getting into more of the twos on this set, and we can go deeper into the twos if you'd like to. But I do think that to see that all this work out and hear your guys' thoughts on it is really interesting.
Yeah, Thuney on that last one didn't let that.
That was textbook. That was a nice little pass off by Thuney. Look at that.
Ooh,
throws the guy out the club. No jerseys in the club. Get out of here.
And that's it. And that's why in those as a 3 technique when you're running these stunts.
Oh my God, he blocked both the guys.
Yeah, that was excellent. That's why as a 3 technique, you're running those things. You're trying not to he's like. Look at the difference in the alignment with 70 and then 96 on the previous one that was successful. I mean. Mm-hmm. You gotta really be more inside. Just try not to give it away, or that's what's going to happen.
But also the difference between this is the same exact game that they ran on the right against Trey and Jawan. The difference is Thuney basically did the same thing as Trey. He gave a little bit more on it, but Donovan stayed vertical. And that filler, you see that hand on the inside? He was able to feel that guy instead of getting up out of there and in a huge lane and getting picked on the hip and not being able to pass it off. He stayed vertical, he stayed square, and he was in a good position.
I haven't seen 79. He looks heavy-handed. Is he pretty?
He's heavy. He's a big-time puncher.
Is he?
You look at his film. He had some really good years in Tampa. And when he gets in trouble, he's such a big puncher. Sometimes he's a 2-hand puncher, and he throws himself back in window.
Hit with that
kind of like Brandon Albert. Reminds me a lot of
Brandon Albert. That's interesting. That's right. That's it.
Same type of profile, same type of player. Really good player though.
Is he must be good he's probably good in the run game too, huh?
Yeah.
Chiefs people have said that this is the best pair of tackles that they have in the Patrick Mahomes era, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with them. But that's the word around camp, especially after Jawan Taylor, Donovan Smith come and join this group. I like to think Eric Fisher and Mitch Schwartz are a pretty good tackle combo.
I'm going to go with Eric and Mitch until proven otherwise. I think athletically, this is our best group of tackles, athletically, if you talk collectively between both. Because Mitch wasn't an athlete at all. Fisher's a pretty good athlete. But Mitch was a technician. He was going to always be in the right place. Never saw him get beat, which is crazy. But these guys both are really good athletes. But you got to do it on the field. So we'll see.
Yeah, you got to do it on the field. So you know what I compare in '79 to Orlando Brown? It reminded me like Orlando Brown. His feet were very smooth, weren't they? Like I feel like he would get out of there and it was like I feel like he was almost floating a little bit. You know what I mean? Then the 75 looks a little bit more stout and strong with his steps. I don't know. Maybe that's. I mean, not that that's here or there, but I feel like Orlando was very. He seemed very athletic. I don't know. Could be wrong.
He was athletic for his size.
For sure.
Yeah. Right on his feet. He's such a big guy.
Yeah, that's right.
He was a huge dude. And I know his combine wasn't the best when it comes to like his athletic testing, but like. It's so hard, I think, now especially when we talk about athletic testing for linemen because people expect some crazy numbers from these skill position players. So that when the linemen get up there, they're just like, wait, how come they're not running 4.4s? It's like, well, there's some big dudes out there. But, no, you guys have any final thoughts on these one-on-ones? I think you guys have done a great job breaking down kind of the mindset and everything that goes into it.
I mean,
overall, it looks like the O-line got their asses kicked. The first day, don't panic. It's always like this, in the beginning of camp. They're going to take some time to communicate, especially these game situations, right? They're not on the same page, not on the same levels. And that's why you practice, man. You're going to fail. Like, failure is a part of the process. I know it may look bad, and we got all these tweets. I used to love looking at Twitter, especially when I had a bad day. But Twitter is going to overreact. But this is a part of practice, man. That's why it sucks that it's so much access. I'm happy the fans get to see it, but I'm also like, man, I wish you can understand more. That's why me and Mike are doing what we're doing, so you can understand the reason behind everything in these drills, and that it's okay to lose. Like everyone's getting paid as long as we come together at the end of the day and we're better. So.
Right, no doubt. And like Jeff said at the beginning, this is an incredibly hard drill for the offensive line. Coming from a defensive lineman, we even knew this. It's pass. You know what's coming. You can take what you can take advantage of. The games you could play. But yeah, with Andy Heck and the quality of this offensive line, we should do another one of these in 3 or 4 days and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do it again, fellas. Appreciate you guys watching these offensive line one-on-one breakdown with Mike DeVito and Jeff Allen. We'll be back tomorrow with another KCSN update video breaking down everything you need to know about the Kansas City Chiefs at training camp. So until then, I'm Tucker Franklin for Jeff Allen and Mike DeVito. We'll talk to you later.